Good show.
Thank you, baby. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday. As I said, at any time, I just do this on a Wednesday for the Get Smart and TOS Star Trek reviews. Today is going to be a little bit different because we've got 4 episodes left of the season 2 for Get Smart when they originally aired. And we have episodes 27 and then 28, 29, and 30. Those last three being an episode simply called A Man Called Smart, which is part 1, part 2, and part 3. So, what I decided to do was go ahead and finish out season 2 of Get Smart today. And then on Friday, way before Gorilla does his Walton stream, which there is a special Walton's episode coming up this Friday. So yeah, I reneged on what I said before, and I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to be there for Gorilla for Friday, but I'm also going to be there Saturday for my friend Chance Bartels when he does his nostalgic pod blast. Which this week we are talking about the legacy of a great late night person known as Johnny Carson. We're going to be talking a lot about him. We'll have trivia, we'll have prizes. So make sure you come out and see us on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 8th of November, to do that. And like I said, at 5:35 p.m. Eastern. Remember, I hope you all set back your clocks earlier this past weekend. Woo! It took a while for us. I went to Gorilla's. So I went to Gorilla's Cigar Lounge. I want to mention a couple things. So I went to his cigar lounge, and I had already missed it almost an hour. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's right, because of the time change." So it should have been 9 p.m. my Eastern and 8 o'clock his Central is when he started. And thankfully, Suzanne had seen that, and so I was able to go there and hang with him as they were doing the eastern coast of the United States, their elections and other things that were happening. So we were talking, having jokes, doing stuff. It was a lot of fun. And then so then I realized, oh wait, that's right. This week was supposed to be the Hill Jack Happy Hour, and I went in there. They were live, but they were only live for about 10 minutes. So I was like, oh hey, here I am, guys and gals, and Sean and Sabrina, great pair of people that invited me the very first time, and I've had nothing but fun ever since. And Sean said, yeah, I left you a link. And I said, oh, okay. Hadn't been there yet. So I went there and, oh, there was the link. So I went and hung for about 2 hours or so with the wonderful Hill Jack Happy Hour crowd. And yeah, it was fun. So that was last night. So today, and thank you, my lover. I see you on there. So today I just decided, since I've only got 4 episodes left to get smart, let's take care of those from season 2. Then Friday morning or afternoon, whichever time, as I said, I have no set times for these, so I'm not going to announce set times anymore. You're just going to have to keep the notifications on, and that jingle bell. It'll be the jingle bell soon. There you go. Yeah, keep that on so that you'll find out when they come on, and as soon as we come on, then come on and join us in the chat there, and say hello. Now, if it's a live stream, which there might be, yeah, there's at least 2 more coming up, but not till next month. Suzanne and I are going to interview our niece Charlotte, a 1v1 live stream, which you folks can come into the chat, come say hello to both of us, and she'll let me know what date she wants to do that. And then finally, for the end of the year, I'll be doing a 1v1 with our good friend Sci-Fi Sif Dan, and we'll be talking together, probably doing some weird, Curly Joe and Mo stuff. Who knows? We might even bring Larry aboard so we can have the 3 of us do Curly Joe, Larry, and Mo. That would be very interesting. I might just do that. That would be fun. Okay. And then something else for the future. As every year, we do a tradition. I don't think we're going to do the Christmas one this year, but we are going to do, hopefully, the New Year's Eve live stream we do every year. And, or we have since the last two years we've been in business. And and hopefully, like I said, I'm only going to have the free plan. I am not going back to that, you know, financial plan anymore. We can't afford that. So, they'll be up to 6. So you'll have to plan yourself. Try to get there early because if you would like to come up and join us, and but you do need to be subscribed, and you will need to know us through Facebook in order for us to bring you on board, so that we can celebrate New Year's Eve together, and in the different time zones and so forth. So that's what's coming up in the future. We'll mention more about it, or if there are any changes, as I've said previously, I'll let you folks know. Okay, so as of today, this will be our 29th episode, or excuse me, 29th uh, live stream or webcam that we've done here for ChattyBloggerMS, which, like I said, stands for Mikey Sue's. And we do have over 32 subscribers now that are brought back to our family, excuse me, our immediate family and community, and we're trying to build it as much as possible. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's get to the Get Smart episodes here. Okay, so starting with episode 27, which is called Pussycats Galore. That aired on Saturday, April 1st, 1967. And then a 3-parter called A Man Called Smart, which consisted of 3 parts, part 1, 2, and 3. Those aired on Saturdays, April 8th, April 15th, and April 22nd of 1967 is when they originally aired. Okay. So let's look at Pussycats Galore first. 7.8 out of 10. 205 people have seen it so far. And yeah, I agree with them. It got about a B grade from me. So, all right. Okay, and now in this episode, Max and 99 go deep undercover when American scientists start disappearing. This was directed by Sidney Miller, and the sole writer for this episode was Arne Sultan. And of course, it does feature the regular cast of characters, as always: Don Adams, Barbara Feldon, Edward Platt. Let's see. Yeah, and then it brought back Angelique Pettyjohn. Yeah, we talked about her. She's Charlie Watkins as Angelique. There is Jean-Marie Engels, who's a pussycat, as Jean Marie, and there's a few others. And yeah, I don't know if we've talked about Ted Knight, but we will. So Hans Fromm is the character he plays in this episode, and then H.M. Wynant plays Frank Valentine in this thing. Yeah, and those are the 2. So let's see. They brought back Larrabee, right, played by Robert Carvelis. They brought in a control agent, uncredited, who was played by a guy named Clark Ross. And Sig Froelich. Oh, nice. He's uncredited, but he's a club patron. Yeah, he's been in a few episodes, I know. And there's our lady in the wings, Rose Michtum, Michtum, the woman at the airport, who's uncredited. Okay, yeah. So we will look at H.M. Wynant and then Ted Knight. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the trivia. Okay. Now, there is one bit of trivia, and there is one spoiler. So, okay. The title refers to the Bond girl in the James Bond film Goldfinger, right? Pussy Galore. That's why I figured that's why it says Pussycats Galore. Yes. Okay, here is the spoiler. So remember what to do. In the episode Smart Fit the Battle of Jericho, which was a few episodes before this one, Max meets Charlie Watkins in disguise as the blonde girl agent. Yet here in the chief's office, when seeing a photo of Charlie, he reacts as if seeing him for the first time. Oh, wow. Cool. All right, let's take a look at the goofs for this. Okay, and we have two. One is continuity. And when the chief asks 99 how well she speaks German, she replies that she is fluent. However, in Rub-a-Dub-Dub, Three Spies in a Tub episode, she wasn't able to understand any of Siegfried's statements in German and repeatedly asked Max to translate. Okay, and then in factual errors, when Maxwell Smart is first asked by the chief to prove he can speak German, he spouts complete gibberish. Later, when he speaks German, he speaks a few words only and with a horrible accent. Nice. Okay, no soundtracks, of course. And of course, all filming and production being done at Paramount Studios there in Hollywood, as we all know. All right. All right, so let's look at the cast and crew. And like we said, when Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, who both created this series, stepped away from the writing duties, you usually had Arne Sultan, who would come in and do it, and then he worked with other writers. So that was pretty cool. All right. Yeah, we did look at Angelique. So let's go ahead and take a look at Frank or H.M. Wynant and Ted Knight. So we'll do H.M. first. Okay. Now, H.M. Wynant, he is actually. Stop. Okay. Okay, so H.M. Wynant is actually still alive as an actor. He was born February 12th, 1927. So he is 98 years old. Very cool. Hey, HM, I hope you reach 100. That'd be cool. He did a movie called Footprints back in 2009. It's one of the things he's known for. All right. His many-faceted career began at age 19 when he left his hometown of Detroit, Michigan, after having attended Wayne State University for just 2 years. He arrived in New York City with only $125 in his pocket and a lot of ambition. Jerome Robbins hired him on the spot at Wynant's first audition, an open call for the Broadway musical High Button Shoes, starring Eddie Foy. H.M. was working as a draftsman and told Robbins that he had to go to work the next day. Robbins said, then quit. Thus began a career and so on. What he did from there. Okay. Now, H.M. is known, according to IMDb background information, he played Hoskins in the one of the Planet of the Apes movies, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, in 1972. Way back in 1957, he was the role of Crazy Wolf in a movie called Run of the Arrow. And in 1960, he was David Ellington in the episode that I believe we've seen from season 2. Yes, episode 5, The Howling Man. Right. Nice. And we saw that recently, so that's very cool. And then Mannix, he was in 2 episodes of Mannix from 1971 to 73. And in season 5, episode 8, The Glass Trap, from 71, he plays Tom Wall. And then in season 7, which is episode 4, in 1973, he played Little Girl Lost. And in that, he was Lou Reynolds. That was the name of the episode, so Little Girl Lost. So very cool. According to IMDb background, his last appearance in a movie or TV was a movie called Living Room Coffin, where he plays Terry. And that was in 2018. That was the last time he actually worked, it looks like. So, very cool. So, keep it going, HM. 98 years and counting. All right. Now, let's go to Mr. Ted Knight. Yeah, we will take care of Ted Knight right now. So, there he is. All right. Of course, we did lose Ted Knight back in 1986. Not only an actor, but of course, he worked on soundtrack. And of course, one of the best movies he's known for, the original Caddyshack from 1980. All right. He did win 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. So that's cool. All right. And according to the information here, he was born December 7th, 1923, literally 18 years before the attack on Pearl Harbor. And he died August 26, 1986. His age was only 62 years old. Actor Ted Knight paid his dues with nearly 2 decades of relatively obscure, dramatic, often villainous television work before finding enduring fame in a scene-stealing supporting turn on a classic 1970s sitcom, hilariously overplaying a silver-haired, self-important imbecile. Although the conceited stuffed shirt typecast plagued him for the rest of his career, the self-proclaimed Polish prince of comedy continued on good-naturedly earning lead status on his own comedy series. And he was born in Connecticut. So, let's see. Let's go back in time. Okay. So in 1967, he was in a movie called Countdown, where he played Walter Larson. In 1970 to 1977, he did appear as Ted Baxter in 165 episodes of The Mary Tyler Moore Show. But it also says here he voiced Mrs. Goldman's dog. Oh, that's interesting. In the Super Friends TV series, not only was he the narrator, but he also voiced the Flash a couple times. That's funny. In 1973. So he did 16 episodes of the Super Friends. And then in 1980, of course, Judge Elihu Smalls in that awesome, or Smales, I'm sorry. Well, it looks like Smalls. Oh, it is. Help me with my glasses. There it is. Elihu Smalls, yes, in Caddyshack. Okay. And according to the information here, he did do that. Remember, he was Henry Rush in 129 episodes of Too Close for Comfort from 1980 to 1987. And let's see. What was his very last appearance? I was going to take a look at that. From season 6, before he died. Yeah, posthumously. Okay, so he appeared for his last 2 times in Presenting Buddy Ficus in 1987. And of course, he appeared in that was season 6, episode 21. And the last episode for him, season 6, episode 22, Lisa Goes Lottery Loco. And that was the last 2 times he appeared as Henry Rush in that series. So, yeah. Rest in peace there, Ted. Alrighty. So, let's go on and take a look at the next 3 episodes. A Man Called Smart. That should be fun. All right. Okay, we're looking first at part 1, and the whole entire plot of all 3 episodes is that chaos threatens the USA to dry up its entire water supply. Control is temporarily taken over by its original chief, Admiral Hardgrade. This was directed, part 1, by Earl Bellamy. I'm sure he directed the other 2. The writers were Leonard Stern and Arnie Sultan. And this first episode got an 8.2 out of 10. These are actually, all 3 of these were top rated episodes. So basically, in my opinion, I gave them all an A-. I think they're 3 of the best episodes they had to finish out season 2 perfectly. Okay. So we're going to look, I believe, at 2 people. There's, oh, no, we already did look at Mark London because he plays Ashkenazi in this. So we're going to look at Ward Donovan, who plays the hotel doctor. Yeah, so we will look at him. And let's see. Yeah, that should be it. So we're going to look at, and of course, Rose Mictum, right? She came back. Robert Carvelis, he came back. Dick Cherney is an onlooker. I know we've talked about him before. John Myers. Oh, here we go. Okay. Bedio Skin is played by Howard Kane. So actually, we're going to look at Howard Kane and Ward Donovan for this. Okay. So let's take a look at the first trivia. Okay. This 3-part episode was originally written as a script for a feature-length Get Smart movie for theatrical release. But Paramount decided against that in the wake of only fair box office returns for Monster Go Home in 1966, Batman the Movie in 1966, and McHale's Navy joins the Air Force in 1965. This episode marks 99's first and only appearance under the cone of silence. In the opening scene, Maxwell Smart's briefcase contains an umbrella that he deploys as a parachute after falling off the building. This is reprised in Inspector Gadget from 1983 as the Gadget umbrella, which Inspector Gadget uses as a parachute when he falls. Inspector Gadget was an animated series about a bumbling secret agent patterned largely after Maxwell Smart, and of course, was voiced by Don Adams. So very cool. Alrighty, let's take a look at the goofs. Okay, and wow, they're cool. There's a view. Okay, so first of all, a revealing mistake. When Smart in the revolving door, one can tell the glass was cut out of the upper part of each door. This was necessary to prevent glare and reflections of the studio lights and to allow them to record the spoken dialogue without distortion. In the miscellaneous department, when Max answers his shoe phone, he comes to attention and clicks his heels. However, he's holding one of his shoes, the phone, in his hand, so he can't click his heels. Okay. Crew or equipment visible. When Max walks on screen as the group is watching the chaos threat via the television set in the lobby, a long electrical cable is clearly visible, running to Max, which eventually powers the light up waistcoat button used to indicate an incoming call to his shoe phone. The cable is still present when Max is stationary in the subsequent shot. Nice. Okay, and then in character error, when Smart is trying to carry on the different conversations with the three different phones, Don Adams gets the phones confused. When Smart talks to 99, he's actually talking into the phone that is connected to the Chaos Agent. Interesting. Okay. Like we said, we don't do quotes anymore. No quotes. Okay, let's see here. Filming and production. Alrighty, and of course we know being filmed at Paramount Studios in LA, in Hollywood. All right, very cool. All right, so let's see. Let's see now. All right, so we're taking a look at, as we said, Howard Kane, who plays Dr. Smith, along with playing a role called Betty Yoskin. And then there's Ward Donovan, who plays the hotel doctor. So let's look at Howard Kane. All right. Howard Kane did pass away in 1993. One of the early blaxploitation movies he did was called Watermelon Man in 1970 as an actor. At the age of 13, Howard Kane, his family name was Cohen, moved with his family from his hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, to New York City, where he began studying acting. Learning to erase his southern accent, he went on to become a master of 32 foreign and American dialects. After service in the Navy during World War II, thank you, sir, for serving. Kane continued his studies at the School of Drama at Columbia University, where he performed, and he graduated summa cum laude. He was born January 2nd, 1926, and he died December 28th of 1993. So he was only 67 years old. Yeah. Okay, a couple things he's known for. He was Hugo Wallner. Okay. In that movie about Judgment at Nuremberg in 1961. In 1972, he was Lewis Morris in New York from a private from New York in the movie 1776 from 1972. He was Major Hochstetter in the awesome Bob Crane series Hogan's Heroes for 39 episodes from 1966 to 1971. And in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, he did actually appear from 60 to 61 in 2 episodes. In 60, he was in season 6, episode 1, which was called Mrs. Bixby and the Colonel's Coat. And he played a pawnbroker employee in that episode. And then in season 7, episode 7, oh, I love the sevens, You Can't Be a Little Girl All Your Life, where he plays Mr. Dahl, Dahl. And that, let's see here. And then The last thing he did work on was 2 episodes back in 1988 for a TV miniseries called War and Remembrance, right? Part 1 and part he was in part 1 and then he was in part 3, so he didn't appear in part 2 of that 3-part miniseries, but the role he played was Lord Maxwell Beaverbrook. Wow. Try to read that one 3 times fast. Beaverbrook, Beaverbrook, Beaverbrook. Okay. All right, so that was the late Howard Kane. And again, thank you, Mr. Kane, for your naval service. We appreciate that. U.S. Navy. Very cool. All right. And let's see. Next we have Ward Donovan. Okay. And Ward Donovan, we did lose him in 1988. And of course, an actor. He was born on February 25th, 1916, in Los Angeles County. He was an actor known for, did you hear the one about the traveling sales lady from 1968? He was in Get Smart, of course, and The Web, which was a late movie way back in 1950, one of those B movies. He was married to Phyllis Diller and Marjorie Bell Todd. Wow. He died on April 16th, 1988, right in Los Angeles. So he was only 72 years old. In the one about the traveling sales lady, he was a salesman in 1968. Of course, he did this one episode, The Hotel Doctor, and then he was an actor in The Web. Well, actually, The Web was a TV series. That's interesting. But in 1951, and it was season 1, episode 28, and the episode was called The Man Who Had No Friends. Okay. And then he was in the movie based on General Douglas MacArthur, which was called MacArthur in 1977. And in that movie, uh, excuse me, he played General Shepard in that. Cool. And then the very last thing he performed in was a TV movie called Isabel's Choice, where he plays a friend in that from 1981. Oh, and he was the maitre d' in Herbie Goes Bananas in 1980, that Disney movie. Wow. He did a few of those Disney films. That's cool. All right. So that was Ward Donovan. All right. Okay. And let's see. All right. So we'll go here. We'll take a look at the next one, A Man Called Smart Part 2, which is episode 29. Here we go. All right. And let's see. Has anybody else come into the chat? Oh, yes. Sci-Fi Nation. How are you dink? Good to see you, Jay. Yeah, morning, Mikey. Good morning to you, sir. I hope I'm not interfering on Captain's. I know he was doing his, time travel police thing. Yeah. I just decided to take care of this because it was the last few episodes of Get Smart. So, yeah. So I'm so glad you're here, Jay. Absolutely. My man from Michigania. I hope you and Nikki are still doing all right. I hope everything's going fine. Got 3 likes already. That is awesome. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, it's good to see you. Really is. All right. So now we got part 2. And I'm guessing everything is all the same. And it looks like it is. So, of course, Earl Bellamy still directing. Leonard Stern and Arn Sultan both wrote it. Mel Brooks and Buck Henry still created. But then they left the writing to Arnie and everybody else. And this, of course, also 207 people, 8.2 out of 10. So as I said, every one of these episodes from the 3-parter all got an A- for me. I upgraded my grade. So yeah, they're all really good. I mean, this is like like it said in the trivia, it's kind of like a movie, but then they couldn't do it that way. So okay. All right. So now we have 2 new people, and I know Admiral Hargrave, played by William Shallert. I know we've talked about William Shallert already. So in this second episode, we'll talk about Maxine Stewart, who plays Nurse Number 1, because we already talked about Howard Kane, and we'll look at Marge Doucet, who plays a Chaos Girl. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the trivia. Okay. And I did read this already about the 3-part episode as an original script for a feature-length Get Smart movie, so I don't need to repeat that one. And then William Shellert was 44 years old when he played the 91-year-old Admiral Hargrave. Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. No, he did great. Okay, and in continuity, in close-ups, Max is fencing with his left hand. In other shots, he is using his right. And it said, actually, a post-production error in editing, this being the middle of a 3-part episode. At the end, Chief is shot by a young man in a wheelchair. Yet, in the recap at the start of the following episode, he's wounded by an older man with his shooting crutch. Cool. Okay, and there is some crazy credits in this one. On the end credits of all 3 parts, Howard Kane is credited playing both Betty Yoskin and Dr. Smith. However, Betty Yoskin only appears in the first 2, and Dr. Smith is in the last 2 episodes. Okay. Yeah, nice. Cool. So that's crazy credits. We also do those. That's not too bad. Alrighty. And Paramount! It's going to be a running theme with me. Okay, let's take a look at cast and crew. Let's see here. Come, go faster. All right, so we're looking at Maxine Stewart. Okay, of course, we did lose Maxine Stewart in 2013 as an actress. One of her favorite roles was Days of Wine and Roses in 1962. She was born on June 28th, 1918 in Deal, Deal, New Jersey. She was known for The Twilight Zone in 1959, Private Benjamin in 1980, and Deerheart in 1964. She was married 3 times to David Shaw, Frank Maxwell, and Alfred Gordon. She died in Beverly Hills on June 6th, 2013. There. She was 94, and she was nominated for 1 Primetime Emmy. Okay. And we saw her on Season 2, Episode 6, Eye of the Beholder, a great episode. She was the Janet Tyler under the bandages. But remember, when she was revealed, that was, of course, Donna Douglas from the Beverly Hillbillies when she came out. So that was cool. She played Aunt Betty in the episode, Aunt Betty in the movie, which featured, of course, the great Goldie Hawn in Private Benjamin in 1980. In Deerheart, back in 1964, she was playing the role of Rita. And in NYPD Blue from 1993 to 1997, she did appear in 2 episodes. From Season 1, Episode 11, from Hair, that's not from here, that's Hair, H-A-R-E, to Eternity. I love how they do this to episodes. She plays Catherine Kelly. And then in Season 4, she came back, a different character named Edith Murphy. And Season 4, Episode 14 was called A Remington Original. And that was in 1997. So very cool. All right. And the last role we have her in, according to IMDb, is Judging Amy, which was a TV series. She plays the role of Jane in that from 2003. And it was Season 4, Episode 15 called Maxine Interrupted. That was the name of the episode. So that was the awesome career of Maxine Stewart. Yeah, very cool. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next person, Marge Doucet. All right, and we did lose Marge Doucet. I think it was due to the pandemic back in 2020 as an actress. She was in an early movie back in the 70s called Breezy. That was in 1973. She was born on February 20th, 1936 in Hays, Kansas. Yeah, Suzanne and I went to Hays. Very nice town. She was an actress known for All My Children, that wonderful soap opera series in 1970, Guiding Light way back in 1952, and she was on the original Star Trek series in '66. She was married to Thomas Allen Perrine Jr. Perrine? Yeah, Perrine. I'm sorry. Jr., and John Murray Doucet. She died on January 28th, 2020, in New York City, New York. She was 83 years old. Okay. So she appeared as mostly as Vanessa Bennett from 1998 to 2002 in All My Children. She was in 60 episodes of that. Way back in 1993 to 2009, she appeared in 167 episodes of Guiding Light, where she mostly played Alexandra Spaulding in that. In the movie I mentioned, Breezy, in 1973, her character role in that was Betty Tobin. And then in the Star Trek, which we're going to examine on Friday, one of the either least liked or one of the most hilarious, stupid episodes of Star Trek series. And I knew I'd recognize her as soon as I saw it. Kara, who was in that episode, season 3, episode 1, Spock's Brain. Yeah, from '68. That was Marge Doucet. Yeah. Okay. And it looks like, let's see here. Yeah, I'm just taking a look. 2020. Okay. So it looks like all the way up until 2009, as I said. Um, let's see here. What was her final episode appearance? Okay. It says here, according to the information, March 2006, uh, an episode that was dated I'm sorry, the episode was dated March 1st, 2006. She again appeared as Alexandra Spaulding. So I think that was her very last appearance, according to what they say here. The Guiding Light. So, all right. So Marge Doucet. Yeah, she was a wonderful actress. Okay. Alrighty then. Well, let's go ahead and get to our last and final episode of our reviews this morning. A Man Called Smart, Part 3. Okay, and I do want to take a look at one other thing from Part 1. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. I'm just checking stuff. I always make sure I cover everything, so, okay. Right, and what I read was the crazy credits about Howard Kane playing the two roles and how he played Betty Oskin in the first two and then Dr. Smith in the last two. So, yes, I did mention that. That'll probably be more likely in Part 3 as well, so cool. Alrighty. And let's see if anybody else has joined us this morning. Alrighty. Well, it looks like we've got my wife and, of course, Sci-Fi Nation. So very cool. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, my beautiful wife. And somebody else who also hit that wonderful like button. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so let's get to the final part here, Part 3. And like I said, I gave a B grade on Pussycats Galore, that episode, but on every one of these episodes, I did give an A minus. These are some of the best episodes they did towards the end of season 2. So, alrighty. And so there we go. Earl Bellamy directing, Leonard Stern and Arnie Sultan writing, Admiral Hargrave played by William Shallert, and of course an 8.2 out of 10, 208 people on this final part. So yes, I gave it. I upgraded to an A minus for everything. So okay, in this episode, let's see, who have we not looked at? Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go back over. We'll go ahead and go back over William Shallert, who plays Hargrave, just so I make sure I've covered him, and Kenneth Mars, who plays Tom Orlando. That'll be cool. The episode did bring back David Ketchum, who plays Agent 13, and Robert Carvelis, of course, is Larrabee. Excuse me. And one of the all-time favorite excuse me. One of the all-time favorite voice actors June Foray, who is uncredited, but she is the voice of the telephone operator in this episode. So very cool. Alrighty. So yeah. So let's take a look at the trivia. And I read about the 3-part episode part, right, as a script. Okay. Kenneth Mars, who plays Tom Orlando, returns in the reunion TV movie Get Smart Again in 1989 as Commander Drury, the head of the intelligence services. Very cool. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I seem to have caught a cough. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden my throat is not breathing. Okay, let's see. John Mayer's character, Otto Hurrah, is seen driving a blue Mark I Sunbeam Tiger. This is a rather exclusive model British sports car with a Ford V8 based on a Sunbeam Alpine. Max drives a red one in the opening credits. During the sword fight, the hand Max is using to hold the sword changes during the close-ups. Oh, wow. Okay. And look at the goofs. Okay, during the final stretch of the fencing duel, Smart changes sword hand during his close-up. That's the continuity. Okay, and actually a post-production error in editing, this being the third of a 3-part episode. At the beginning, where they recap the ending of the previous part, the chief, excuse me, gosh, I all of a sudden got this coughing fit. Okay, the chief is shot by an older man with his crutch, yet in the prior episode, he was shot by the younger man in a wheelchair. Okay. One revealing mistake is when Max and Hera are fencing. You can see Hera swing well above the candle, yet he pops the top of it off as if he hit it. And then, like I said, in miscellaneous, June Foray is credited as the telephone operator in the cast list, but it clearly isn't her. Okay. And character error. When 99 chastises Admiral Hargrave for callousness, he responds with, "Now see here, young lady, I am a soldier." However, a Navy man would refer to himself as a sailor, never a soldier. Nice. Okay. All right. And in the crazy credits, as we told you previously, about Howard Kane. Okay. So let's go ahead. And of course, we know Paramount. Yes. All right. So, okay. All right. So first, let's go ahead and look at Kenneth Mars, and then we'll look at William Shellert. Okay. All right. Now, Kenneth Mars did pass away in 2011. Not only was he an actor, but he also did soundtrack work. He did do the voice for one of the dinosaurs in The Land Before Time 10, The Great Long Neck Migration in 2003. He was an American actor and comedian. He appeared in 2 Mel Brooks films as the deranged Yahtzee playwright Franz Liebkind in The Producers in 1967, and police inspector Hans Wilhelm Friedrich Kemp in Young Frankenstein in 1974. He also appeared in Peter Bogdanovich's What's Up, Doc in 1972, Woody Allen's Radio Days in 1987, and Shadows and Fog in 1991. He was born April 4th, 1935, and he did pass away on February 12th, 2011, at the age of 75. So, pretty good career there. Okay, and What's Up, Doc in 1972, he plays Hugh Simon. In The Producers, as I said, Franz Liebkind in 67. In Young Frankenstein, Inspector Kemp in 1974. And he did the voice of Triton in The Little Mermaid from Disney in 1989. Cool. Now, according to IMDb, The Land Before Time TV series, which came out in 2007, he played, he did the voice of Grandpa Longneck. And the final episode he worked on was from season 1, episode 22, called returned to Hanging Rock in 2007. So that was his last TV appearance as voice. Cool. All right, so that is the career there, briefly, of Kenneth Mars. Rest in peace. And now we'll look at William Shallert. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, of course, we did lose William Shallert in 2016. He was in the movie called Colossus, the Forbin Project from 1970 as one of his appearances. Not only, of course, he was an actor, but he also worked on soundtrack. He was born July 6, 1922, and he did pass away at the age of 93 on May 8th, 2016. He was the son of Edwin Shallert, who was the drama editor of the Los Angeles Times and the dean of West Coast Critics. William Shallert became interested in an acting career while at UCLA in 1942. After graduation, he became involved with the Circle Theater, eventually becoming one of its owners, and made his film debut in The Foxes of Harrow, 1947. He then became ubiquitous in movies and TV ever since. I love that word. And from 1979 to 1981, he was president of the Screen Actors Guild. He stayed active with SAG projects ever since and said he never regretted joining it and doing it. So very cool, Mr. Shallert. Let's see. He had appeared recently as 1987 for Inner Space. That's a great one, where he played Dr. Greenbush. Way back in 1967, he was in the original movie In the Heat of the Night, which eventually had Carol O'Connor come on and do the series. He played Mayor Schubert in that. In The Incredible Shrinking Man from 1957, one of those B movies, he played Dr. Arthur Bramson. Very cool. And then his appearance in the Patty Duke Show, of course, as the Lanes, Martin Lane, Uncle Jed Lane, Kenneth Lane, all of that, from 63 to 66. And let's see, what was the final episode he worked on? Okay. The final episode he worked on was season 3, episode 32, called Do a Brother a Favor from 1966. And that he played Martin Lane in that. So the dad. Very cool. Okay. And he was uncredited. This was his last appearance, according to the information. In the TV series from 2014, let's see. Yeah, so 2 years before he passed away. William worked as an elevator operator, but uncredited, as I said, in the TV series Two Broke Girls. And in that, season 3, episode 20 of that, it's called And the Not Broke Parents in 2014. Cool. Hey, that was his last appearance in TV or movies. Very sweet. Okay, so that's William Shallert. Okay. All right, so that is the last. Yeah, that's it, because we did Kenneth Mars. Okay, cool. So that was A Man Called Smart Part 3. And so that covers all of our episodes from Season 2 of Get Smart. And as I said, this coming Friday, either morning or afternoon, whichever time I plan for, we will start covering Season 3 from both series, both shows. Season 3, episodes 1 and 2. Of course, as you know, TOS, we've got Spock's Brain. That'll be interesting. And then, like I said, Get Smart, Season 3, episodes 1 and 2 from that. So that is all coming up on this following Friday. And then, I'll probably hang with Gorilla on his Walton stream. I hope he does it on this Friday because it's a very important episode from Season 5. And it is just before we had, Ellen Corby ended up having a stroke in the middle of filming. And so her episode, so yeah, that's a big one coming up. Okay. And let's see. So yeah, we're all done. Okay. So let's see here. So we'll just go over the episodes for Friday. So For Get Smart First, season 3, episode 1 is called The Spy Who Met Himself. And then then episode 2 is called Viva Smart. Nice. That's a funny one when they go to South Africa and dress up as flamenco dancers. Funny one, absolutely. Okay, and then we'll take a look at TOS. As I said, we have Spock's Brain, season 3, episode 1, the last season. So here we go. Okay, yeah. So Friday will be Spock's Brain, and then the top-rated episode of season 3, of course, the Enterprise Incident, which is episode 2, and of course that features the Romulan female commander in that one, where the Enterprise has the mission to obtain the Romulan cloaking device, and that should be fun. So a really funny one, but a very good episode after that. So yes, that'll be what we do next on Friday. Okay. All right, well, we're almost done. So I want to thank our good friend and brother, Mr. Sci-Fi Nation, Mr. J, over there in Michigania, and his lovely partner and wife in this life, Nikki. And hopefully Nikki is going to be okay until the day she goes. And then, we'll all mourn for her. We will, sir. And we'll say all the prayers we can. Okay. And I want to thank Captain Affinity for making amends with me. I want to thank Tony Stark of Iron for making amends as well. Jim, Jim, you and I will just have a uneasy peace, but that's pretty much it. I won't try to say much to you, and as long as you don't berate me or whatever. So anyway, like we said before, and now the aisle's closed from the great Gene Siskel. My wife, of course, who says, leave everything in God's hands. Great piece of advice as a minister of the Universal Life Church. My brother, Larry, who says, always be yourself. And, of course, thanks to Matt Arnold, our brother there in Alabama, who gave me the incentive to say, remember, you never know where you'll see or hear me next. So make sure that you keep those wonderful bells going, this bell right there, for notifications. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And remember to share this with your friends. And, of course, don't forget to hit that like button if you liked it today, as 3 people have already done. And then I'll add mine to that mix as well. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Okay. So today is dedicated, since he was the first to appear in the box here. Today is dedicated to both Jay and wonderful Nikki. So all the prayers that are possible, please keep them up for those two, please. Okay. All right. So remember, God bless America, God bless Canada, God bless Europe and the rest of the world we live in. Remember, we just live in one. So make sure you become the future stewards and guardians to our future generations so that they can enjoy a wonderful world that we believe in and still live in. And hopefully we can reach a fragile peace around the world with the current leaders that we've got in place, not only in the USA and Canada, but in the rest of the world. So let's hope and pray for that. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There we go. Okay, so peace for Mikey Seuss 4, of course, and ChattyBloggerMS. So along with myself, my beautiful wife Suzanne, and of course our beautiful cats Deja Vu and Moon Pie, I want to say thank you all for being here this morning to listen to me, the Chatterbox, the Chatty Blogger, cover the last few episodes of Get Smart for season 2, and then we'll go right into season 3 for both shows. And as I said, my mission for till the end of this year or beyond is to finish every show I've planned on doing, because, as I said, on January 1st, there will be a big reveal, and I'm going to have only a few select panelists to help me on the 3 things that I'll be covering, but I'm not going to reveal that yet, like I said, till we get to the end of the year and we start next year. It should be interesting because these are 3 subjects I discussed with Suzanne over the course of 2 days, and she was right, and I was right. These subjects were never really covered by any other YouTube channels or anything. So, as you know, here at ChattyBloggerMS, we're trying to become not only one of the kindest YouTube channels online, but we're also wanting to cover subjects that most people won't even bother to cover or review or anything. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to cover. These 3 unknown subjects that you don't know yet. I want to keep you all in suspense for that. You know, as a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger! Oh, Mikey's got a cliffhanger. Yeah. That is me. Okay. So, peace from all of us. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here, of course, always supporting us. Remember, hit that subscription. Hit the like button. Don't forget the all notifications, and of course, share this please with your friends and family and other people you know online. And like I said, I'll see you guys. Yeah, more likely, like I said, Friday I'll do my 4 regular shows to start season 3, and I'll go on Gorilla's, Walton's episode, whichever one that is, and then on Saturday, don't forget, please be there for myself and Chance Bartels as we do the nostalgic Pod Blast, 5:35 p.m. Eastern on that day. So Saturday. So make sure you're there for us. Okay. All right. Other than that, I have nothing else more to say. I know that's hard to believe, but I don't because my voice is running out, and I knew when I started coughing heavily. And again, I really apologize. I didn't mute myself in time. But yeah, I know this is why I get burned out, because if I do so many things all at once, then I get burned out. But then, of course, when I'm sitting there not doing anything but just watching video, whatever, and Suzanne knows me really well, better than I know myself. She said, "You get bored, honey, very quickly, and you want to go back on and do it." And I say, "Yes, I do." So there you go. Smarter than me. Gotta have that. All right. So take care, everybody. We'll see you next time on ChattyBloggerMS. Fun, fun, fun.